afternoon, Ukraine's President Zelensky says a Russian drone attack against Kyiv should be taken as President Putin's response to the latest peace proposal. Explosions rocked the Ukrainian capital overnight as Russia fired hundreds of drones and missiles. The attack comes just a day before President Zelensky is due to meet Donald Trump for talks in Florida. Sabah Chowdhury has the latest.
Kyiv plunged into darkness once again as Russia unleashed a fresh wave of drone attacks overnight. Metro stations turned into makeshift shelters as families fled underground, seeking safety from the strikes above. Today, it's a desperate picture. The capital is burning, buildings still on fire. After 6 districts were attacked, killing 1 person and injuring dozens. And the search for the missing continues. 300,000 residents are now without power and forced to face freezing temperatures. This the impact of 500 Russian drones and 40 missiles. Writing on X, Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky said, "This is the true attitude of Putin and his inner circle. They do not want to end the war and seek to use every opportunity to cause Ukraine even greater suffering. This means that the pressure in response is still insufficient." The timing of these attacks are significant. They come on the eve of peace talks in Florida. President Zelensky's on his way to meet Donald Trump to discuss a 20-point peace plan he says is 90% ready, including a proposed demilitarized zone and a push for US security guarantees. But President Trump overnight struck a cautious tone, telling Politico he doesn't have anything until I approve it, adding, "So we'll see what he's got." For Zelensky, diplomacy now runs parallel to devastation, an escalation on the battlefield just as talks begin. Peace now hanging between falling bombs and diplomacy still waiting for approval. Sabah Chowdhury, ITV News.
Well, back here, one of 2 men who went missing during a Christmas Day swim in Devon has been named. The family of Matthew Upham, a 63-year-old antique sealer, said he was deeply loved and will be forever missed. He was among a group who got into difficulty in the sea. Several people were brought to safety, but 2 men, including Mr. Upham, are still missing. The government is hoping to get more young people interested in joining the armed forces. They've unveiled a paid military gap year programme. The scheme is being offered to under 25s who'll get the chance to experience different aspects of the armed forces. Well, Callum Fairhurst joins me now. Callum, tell us more about this scheme.
Well, many are saying in these growingly uncertain times, Britain is unprepared for war. So one of the government's answers to that concern are these military gap years. Under the plan, under 25s would be offered a year paid placement with the armed forces. Now, they wouldn't actually go on active operations, so you wouldn't see them on the front line, but they would get bespoke training across the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. And the Defence Secretary today said that the programme will, quote, give Britain's young people a taste of the incredible skills and training on offer in the armed forces.
So, Callum, is this essentially about boosting recruitment within the armed forces then?
Well, it's no secret. In recent years, the armed forces has struggled with recruitment and retention. But this scheme, well, we're not really talking about huge numbers. When it starts in March, there'll be about 150 recruits, and critics would say that this is actually just a drop in the ocean of what is really needed. Although ministers do plan for there to be about 1,000 recruits, perhaps slightly more, when this is fully up to speed. But this isn't new. Around the world, schemes like this exist. So we've seen one like this in Australia. In 2023, they recruited just under 700 young people, with about half of those going on to get permanent positions in the armed forces. If the UK can replicate that, well, we'll just see.
OK, Callum, thank you very much. In other news, in Thailand and Cambodia have agreed to an immediate ceasefire after weeks of deadly clashes near the border. Officials from both sides have agreed to freeze the front lines and allow civilians to return to their homes. Almost 1 million people have been displaced by the conflict. Another senior member of staff working for Harry and Meghan has quit. Meredith Mains, who was their chief communications officer, stepped down less than a year into the role. A source told ITV News she left a few weeks ago. And Gordon Ramsay says he couldn't be prouder of his daughter Holly, who is today marrying Olympic swimmer Adam Peaty at Bath Abbey. The celebrity chef said he was truly lucky to be gaining an incredible son-in-law. And finally, England have won the 4th Ashes Test in Melbourne, ending a 15-year wait for a win in Australia.
Bethel taking matters into his own hands. That's a terrific shot.
Jacob Bethel justified his recall to the side, reaching 40 and helping England to reach their target of 175.
Tucks that round the corner.
The winning runs came off the thigh pad of Harry Brook to celebrations. The Ashes, of course, won by Australia, but the victory here leaving it 3-1 to Australia, avoiding a whitewash series defeat for the tourists.
10 runs has never felt so far away when I got out. I didn't want to come back into the dressing room and watch the TV on the delay, so yeah, awesome feeling. Been on a couple tours before where it's not gone too well, so to end up on the right side of the result after a long period of time is a pretty special feeling.
And that is all for now. ITV News is back at 4 o'clock. Until then, do enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Bye-bye.